What's up, Murda? Nice to see you again. It's been a while, huh? Much appreciated. Interesting Valban. I think we're gonna see some Shimada Bros, definitely. Yeah, you know what? Maybe the Valid ban is something of a target ban. It might be maybe someone on Squad 9 Alpha has a really strong Vala, and Mortis Invicta just doesn't want to deal with it, or they just want to take away a comfort pick.
With every death comes honor. With honor, redemption.
Hanzo, good first pick. He is pretty meta, as you were saying. And we'll see if the other Shimada brother will be picked up on the side of Squad 9 Alpha. I'd like to see Blaze, at some point in the recent games from NGS. I just want to see if he fits in, in any of these metas. ETC first pick, Lucio second pick, pretty strong top tier tank and top tier support player.
Yeah, so I really like that. Lucio, one of the best dealers in the game. ETC, one of the best tanks in the game. They grab him right off the board before the ban phase is going to come. I think it's super smart, and I think it also limits what Mortis Invicta can go into, but they decide now is the time to pick up their Stukov, which I think is one of those other healers that matches up against Lucio very well. A lot of teams loving to pick him recently, and wouldn't mind seeing a tank fall here as well. But like I said, I think we got to keep a look on some of these wave clear heroes.
Yeah, I remember actually the good point about Stukov. The Div A team that we just casted, what was it, last week? There was a Stukov on the winning team on Tomb as well. So Stukov getting some play on Tomb of Spider Queen.
So 4 seconds left. Let's see what they decide to do. And it's going to be Arthas the Lich King dropping in for Mortis Invicta here before the second ban phase. And first up on this ban phase is going to be Squad 9 Alpha. So I think looking at this right here, you're kind of stuck without being able to take the Greymane. So maybe Greymane would be a safe ban for them. Arthas on the other team is fantastic up against Greymane, so you don't want them yourself, but the other team's draft also leaves room that they could hop in to taking it themselves. They could use that wave clear once again, so
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. There can be a couple things. Okay, so it looks like Squad 9 Alpha wants to take out some wave clear, but it can be a slippery, dangerous ban, because what if you have Mortis Invicta on the right hand side banning out the Gul'dan? What can you go? I mean, you could go the Greymane. Greymane is great wave clear, but they're swapping around their bans and they take out the Varian.
all right. So Varian, maybe it's signaling that they want to go into something a little bit lighter, afraid of that taunt perhaps, or maybe the C smash because they know they already have Arthas there. So I think from what we've seen recently, this is something that it's kind of all over the place here in Div C East. We're not seeing these sort of bans over in Div C West. We've casted a couple games for them. We've casted a few games of Division B and A, and I think here in this division in particular, they have their own meta formed, and it looks like maybe it's a Tracer sort of meta over here, and they want to make sure that they get rid of it. But with the Varian banned away, Tracer, not a bad decision there to have banned away for themselves. So really, I think anything's open here, Lucky.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't hate the Tracer ban. You know, if one team bans away Varian, it's kind of almost a giveaway where okay, we want to go either, you know, Tracer, Genji, or something that can dive and not get instantly blown up by a taunt. So I respect Mortis Invicta just taking out the Tracer, saying, you know, we just don't want to deal with it, because they could go into a TAS Tracer absolutely 100%. You know, TAS would really help with a wave clear. So if that's what Squad 9 Alpha was looking to, you know, perfect pairing with the TAS would be the Tracer, obviously. But 4 seconds to make their picks and show us what they had up their sleeves.
And it is Falstead and Kel'Thuzad. So we got the Ice Mage falling through here in the draft, going over to Squad 9 Alpha. I think on this map in particular, Lucky, we see it go late game quite often. The level 20, it's going to tick in. And one of the best scaling heroes in the game, especially for the mages, is Kel'Thuzad. Once he gets his blight stacks up to 30, he can be a real menace on the field. So if they have a good player, that could be a really scary pick. And Mortis Invicta is looking down the chamber of a gun. They need to make something happen in the early game up against this comp of Kel'Thuzad, as well as a Falstead with Seasoned Marksman, which can stack up late. So I think they really need to focus on some early game heroes and try to push out a snowball before it gets to the late game for them.
Yeah, and you know what, Kel'Thuzad too, I see a lot of ETC Kel'Thuzad pairings, because ETC has that very quick, can pull the trigger, here's the stun, follow up CC right here, you know, look at me, I just slid, and now follow up CC. Kel'Thuzad pairs with that. Mortis Invicta picks the KT, and they have Leoric in the solo lane. So they picked up some more wave clear. Pretty good job on their part. I like the KT pickup, and Squad 9 Alpha was at one point looking to ban it. So
not only did they pick up Kel'Thas, but like you said, we have KT up against KT. Ice vs. Fire. Who's going to reign supreme here on Tomb of the Spider Queen? Personally, if you're asking me, the only true KT is Kel'Thuzad. So a little cheering for me for the Ice Lord here, but nonetheless, Kel'Thas, a wonderful pick here. He's going to have plenty of opportunity to get the wave clear in the 4-man rotation, and putting Leoric down in that solo lane is going to be big trouble for most heroes that they're going to go up against, because he really dominates and he has the ability to slow out if they get in melee range, and he also can throw that spooky hand on them, take away their health, and so much ability by Leoric available. But nonetheless, 5 seconds left, the final pick of this draft for Squad 9 Alpha. And it looks like they're going to select Tyrael. All right, so this is one of the first times we've gotten to cast the brand new Tyrael, Lucky.
Rework Tyrael, yeah, he definitely feels a lot stronger than before. He doesn't have these early game mana issues. Some little talent diversity and rework going on. You have Holy Ground at 13 if you choose to go Holy Ground. He's got now great AoE shields for his entire team, and minions at level 1 if you choose to go into the buff your friends talent. And so it'll be interesting. I wonder if Tyrael's going to be against that Leo in the solo lane.
All right, so we are loading in to Tomb of the Spider Queen. This is game number 1, and Smeagol Pig from chat would like to request a shout out for his brother Mike Hawk. How you doing, Mike Hawk? See, most people would pronounce it Mike Hawk, which sounds terrible. And I'm not gonna fall for that one. I will enunciate the word properly. Mike Hawk.
Mike Hawk, shout out to you wherever you are.
I love Twitch trolls, by the way. All right, so here, game number 1 on the left-hand side tonight, we have Squad 9 Alpha. The captain of this team is Aura Luna, gonna play that Lucio. Andrade gonna pick up the ETC on that golden cock. Angel gonna play the Kel'Thuzad. And Jungle Jim, I see there on the Tyrael. And rounding it out is Mr. Hot Wheels on that Falstead.
On the right-hand side, American Specialist, we have Ronin Kitten on the Stukov. We have Deathstroke on the Hanzo, or Hanzo, however you'd like to pronounce it. Striker on the Kael'thas. We have our tank Zaldrith player on the Arthas. And our bottom solo lane will be ML Gotti 86.
All right, so HGLF being dropped in chat. Very good for that sort of acronym. Jungle Jim gonna make sure that his presence is known down on that vent on the bot side of this mid lane. It's going to be a pretty slow going here to start. Of course, we're waiting on Squad 9 Alpha to really get that Kel'Thuzad started, so I'd expect to see some slow play out of them. Make sure they keep the Kel'Thuzad safe first and foremost, and hopefully get the Falstead in this 4-man rotation, surprisingly. Get those stacks up on, he went into Gathering Storm, so gonna try to hit some heroes with that hammer and hopefully pick up that big fat mage damage late game, picking up the boomerang as well, I'd imagine.
We got a lot of questing talents, I think, on both sides. We have KT also went Convection build, so he'll be looking to build up some stacks, and then target practice Hanzo, which is the Q talent, where you have to hit all enemies up first step is 3 times, then you want to hit all enemies 5 times.
And of course we see Frost Presence from Arthas, which is the root quest, and he'll be looking to keep all the members of Squad 9 Alpha locked in place, setting up the combo with the Kael'thas and also this Hanzo. That target practice, once it's online, it's going to do a ton of damage for him.
Yeah, I like the Q. I know it's not the most popular meta, but I like, I'm a big, you know me, I like to skirmish a lot. And I like just the Q damage. It's pretty nice. And then once you get that range, which is the first tier of the quest, it really allows you to poke out from far distance. We got a slide on ETC going in on the Arthas, gets a counter route, and the Arthas will just back up.
All right, so one thing I want to bring up, we just saw a lane swap. The Tyrael and the Falstead deciding that the Falstead's going to have a better matchup into this Leoric because, like I mentioned, you really can't get into melee range up against Leoric because of his spooky hand, because of his slow that he has with his Q. So I really like this rotation, or the lane swap, really, that they're doing here with the Falstead in the bot lane.
Yeah, and it's probably a better lane matchup, too, because Falstead can kind of just back up. You see... Okay, well, he walks back into the spooky hand. That might be a player on his part, but Falstead, for the most part, should be able to kite around the Leoric, just throw his Q in the wave, and then dodge the spooky hand.
All right, so we saw an almost kill there. Stukov was trying to get the last bit with the lurking arm, but not quite enough. And the members of Squad 9 Alpha, I believe it was Aura Luna and Andrade, able to scoot away with their lives. And now they're back in lane with full health, full mana. ETC going to take a slide in onto this Hanzo. Deathstroke in trouble. Kel'Thuzad's going to miss his route there. So it's going to be a little bit of a retreat and a reset for the team because they really have to depend on Kel'Thuzad to be their damage dealer. Especially if Falstead was going to be in the bot lane, but it looks like they've decided enough's enough and they're going to bring Falstead back up to resume stacking his quest. He's at 8 on his Gathering Storm, so I think the bot lane is just going to have to be in favor of Mortis Invicta here tonight because Leoric is a big threat, especially up against a melee hero like Tyrael.
I agree. You know, I think you kind of have to just try and not lose that bottom lane too much, because Falstead doesn't have the best poke out range. I mean, if it's played really well, then the Falstead can kind of even out that lane. But Leoric's wave clear is just too good, and he's, you know, he landed a spooky hand on the Falstead already, so they're not sure what they want to do with Squad 9 Alpha. Looks like maybe a turn in top, Murda?
Yeah, Gem's very close to being turned in. Zaldrith holding on to the last one. They need 50, but they already have 49 in. Zaldrith holding on to exactly 1 gem. And Squad 9 Alpha, they're very aware that they're right here trying to turn in. So they're going to do all they can. There's Kel'Thuzad landing a 2-man route, so that'll help with his bite stacks. Currently at 8 of 30. Right now, though, it's Kael'thas. Striker is the one clicking, and he has plenty of time here. Can he finish it? And he does. Striker getting that turn in. So first, web weavers of the game are going to be in favor of Mortis Invicta. ETC barely scooting away with his life. Angel now on that Kael'thas scooting away with low health. So wonderful job, wonderfully played. Level 7s are also online here for Mortis Invicta, and they're really looking to put the pressure on right now.
We have a pretty good position for web weavers in all 3 lanes. You know, it's right in the middle of the lane, so it should clear up Squad 9's minion wave with one little spider wave and push. You know?
Yeah, that was a wonderful decision there. Arthas was hanging out towards the bottom turn-in point. Falstead made a risky rotation without any vision on the opponent, and they're able to pick off the Falstead. He'll be up in 8 seconds, so a big push now coming in the mid lane, and don't forget about bot lane because Leoric's there as well pushing. But really the focus right now is on this 4v4 fight over here in the mid lane, and the Spider obviously still available. A talent I really want to talk about, Lucky, is the new nerfed version of sharpened arrows for Hanzo at level 7. Instead of reducing armor by 5, it now currently is reducing armor by 4, stacking up to a max of 20. So do you think that's going to bring impact to his kit, or do you think it's still really the way to go, especially on a map like this?
I still think it's the way to go. There's really no counterplay to having the range and then armor negation. I think he's still very strong because he can safely just put negative armor on most targets. His ranges hasn't been touched, but I think Hanzo's still strong. I think the nerfs may probably have not been enough to him.
Yep, so we're still seeing control on the map heavily in the favor of Mortis Invicta right now. They have level 9, almost level 10 with their heroics online. It's really when this is going to start pushing heavily in their favor. And all 5 members now of Squad 9 Alpha here in this bot side turning point. It's a huge root. Hot Wheels on that Falstead falling low. Definitely almost dead. He's at 130 health right now. And the zoning of Arthas is huge, and you also have the Leoric moving up, able to do what he can. And here's an Entomb, level 10's online, and that's Jungle Jim, the one in trouble. Tyrael gonna fall. Remember, he has his trait. He's able to explode right now. Not gonna do nearly enough damage on the Striker.
ETC slides to his death. He slides right underneath a lurking arm, and he just could not get out of there. Good job, Ronin Kitten, placing a well-placed lurking arm, and then ETC maybe a little misplay sliding onto the lurking arm. So they net 3 kills, 3 for nothing with that level 10 advantage. Yeah,
Falstead walking up into that vent, and waiting for him was Arthas Zaldreth, the captain for Mortis Invicta, right in place in the perfect spot at the perfect time, able to pick up a 3rd kill in that engage. So looking at the gem counts, Mortis Invicta currently holding 50, but they still have the heroic tier advantage, and sneaking up to the top lane. I don't think there was much vision on that. They are getting onto this boss, and it's going down pretty quick. Remember, they have the Hanzo, so this is a wonderfully placed decision on their part to get this right away, push up that top lane, and maybe even get the 2 more gems, turn it in, and get your spiders to follow behind it.
Yeah, I think so. Squad 9 Alpha, without having level 10s, they can't even contest. Even if Squad 9 knew that the boss was being taken, they just can't contest, you know. Talent tier, having your level 10 ultimate is just too big, and Mortis Invicta is going to get the boss and then have a web weaver push behind it because they got enough gems.
So that's the play. We see the boss still at about 75% health, but here's 4 members trying to defend it. That Ford is going down. The Syndra Gosa connects on 4 members. Is at the bottom side is Angel. The Kel'Thuzon in trouble, but we already saw ETC fall. Falstead's low, 300 health left. Can the root come out? The stun misses from Hanzo, but there's Kel'Thuz finishing off the kill. This is a boss push, and right behind it, spawning in behind, is this Spider, the web weaver, here in the top lane. This keep is in big trouble, Lucky.
Yeah, this is a big push, and now Mortis Invicta also has the talent. Oh man, if Mortis Invicta plays this right, they can possibly end the game. It depends, because the web weaver is so strong. If they get more kills, they have talent tier advantage. Squad 9 has to play this very carefully. They got to put damage on this wave and, you know, kind of survive this, because this could be the death push if they stagger more deaths here.
The beat had to be dropped. ETC was way too low, so there's a heroic out, and the Entomb's going to land on Tyrael again. There's the silence from Stukov, putting him inside the oven. That's all the damage they needed, and falling now are 3 members.
This may be game. This may be game.
I think with this boss here, and now this Phoenix dropping from Kel'Thuz, zoning out the rest of the team, this core is in trouble. 75% health. I think it's targeting right now onto Arthas, and Leoric's also there to soak some of the damage. I think they can stay, but Striker's too low and wants to get out, and all the members now of Squad 9 Alpha are respawning.
They wanna try and get some counter kills here. Oh, big arrow, and the Mosh unfortunately whiffs. And I think America. Oh
no! Hanzo had a little bit of armor reduction on Leo, and it was the silence from Stukov, and here comes the Entomb once again on Jungle Gym. I'm keeping track. That's the third time they've had the Entomb on Tyrael in this game. So
Entomb and Syndra Ghost right after it too.
Yeah, so 5 members here at the core once again. Lucio just spawning. Tyrael still waiting to respawn. 8 seconds left. There's a huge root on the Falstad. Hot Wheels in trouble. Gonna fall to that flame strike by Kel'Thas. There's a kill though. A double kill. Both the tanks are dead. Deathstroke, Ronin Kitten, and Striker gotta run, but there's a judgment. Locking in Hanzo. So a few kills, a core defense yet again here by Squad 9 Alpha, but all 3 of their keeps fell during that last Webweaver.
These Winions though, I think these basic, not even katas made, well, they're putting a lot of extra damage.
Yeah, an extra 12%
so they're gonna
or
clear
so.
it up. Yeah, it went down to, I think, about 10-12%. Wow, so we are 11 minutes into the game. Squad 9 Alpha has 0 keeps and their core's at 25%. Leo just res in their base. He's just walking out. Maybe a little BM, maybe he wasn't paying attention, you never know, but it looks like they're going to try and get this kill on Leo for overstaying in their base. He said, respect our base, sir. You will not get away with your life.
And he also wastes his Entomb right there. Not too big of a deal. It's a 50-second cooldown, but nonetheless, he'll be up before that. And that heroic will not be available. So they had to use their turn in to de-push these lanes. They need the XP. They need to get to level 16, really when Lucio's heals start coming online. Remember, this is a late game composition. You have Kel'Thuzad finishing his Blight stack, so he's going to start doing a bit of damage. Falstad at 23 Gathering Storm stacks. He's going to do a bit more damage than he was in the beginning of the game. But if you are Mortis Invicta, you are not taking your foot off the pedal. I want this fight right here. There's a huge Mosh hits 3, but perfectly silenced by Stukov. Judgment comes out yet again onto Hanzo. He's able to hop over the wall tap as well. Now here's Leoric. He's got his Entomb up, but a very good gust there by Hot Wheels and that Falstad.
And, Ronin's been really on point with all these silences the entire game. He's defensively and aggressively. Look, there's another 2-man silence. And into the Entomb. Oh, my lord. These tanks can't do anything. Yeah. Ronin Kitten is just carrying these fights with his silence.
It was a 5-man Sindragosa we just saw there from Zaldreth, and now a 2-man Howling Blast lands on Hot Wheels and Angel. Hot Wheels the one in trouble. Angel on that Kel'Thuzad able to skate away with Lucio, doing all the damage he can to keep this push from advancing down their bot lane. But this is about 30 seconds before Falstad's back up. He will have Gust available. I think they know that they can get this core down. They still have Phoenix. There it is. It drops onto the core Striker, the one who's going to try doing damage along with Deathstroke on that Hanzo. But there's a Kel'Thuzad ult trying to drop in. It's not going to be enough. 15%, 10%, 5%. GG. Game 1. Going over to the side of Mortis Invicta.
Mortis Invicta heavy-handedly just dominating that game. You know, the boss with web weavers, with having 11 to level 9, they snowballed their victory. They played it very well early game.
Which they had to do, right?
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, if you have an early game comp, you know, you play it. Don't play passive. You know, play towards what your comp does, and you see Hanzo with 39,000 hero damage versus the Kel'Thuzad's 29, and it's a big difference in team fights. 10k damage is a whole lot.
All right, so that was game number 1. We're going to take a 3-minute break, set up the next lobby, and hopefully we see you back here for game number 2, and it is going to be Cursed Hollow.
Guys, don't leave anywhere. Squad 9's looking for their revenge. It should be a good match.
All right, so I just want to keep you guys updated. We are currently waiting on Mortis Invicta to hop here into the next lobby. They say they're going to need 5 minutes, so I'm going to throw up another timer. Unfortunately, we'll see you back here in 5 minutes.
Accursed Hollow.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gents. We finally have gotten into draft for game number 2 over on Cursed Hollow. If you missed game number 1, actually, I need to update my overlay. There we go. Game number 1 went over to Mortis Invicta on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Very successful with their early game snowballing. They were able to take out all 3 of the keeps on their second Webweaver phase. Followed up, it followed up their boss that they had gotten. So very successful game number 1 for them. Now moving into map number 2, this was their map pick, Cursed Hollow. So I'd expect to see some confidence come out yet again here for Mortis Invicta. Lucky, we already see Dahaka banned, so global taken away, and I think that's a pretty good strategy in terms of Cursed Hollow, making sure that you're not giving any sort of macro advantage to the other team. So right away, Mortis Invicta sees it, and they're like, all right, well, we're taking away Falstead.
Yeah, I think Dahaka too, especially on this map, is a great takeaway ban. He can kind of just soak you that extra half level, that level if your team can poke out, if the enemy is just all 5 manning the objective and you have decent poke and you also have Dahaka on your team, you can just continue side soaking until the decision is made. We really need a Dahaka to dig here. And sometimes you don't even need that dig. Sometimes you just need to poke out, get that level advantage, get sack the first tribute or the second tribute, and get that level lead. So as you said, Squad 9 Alpha, this is their map pick. Maybe they were uncomfortable in the last match on Tomb. Sometimes that happens. So let's see if they can come back and take a tie here. They take Murden for the first pick.
This is actually the pick of Mortis Invicta, Lucky. So not as sure how confident they are. So they do have the first pick, though, and they pick up the Murden, which leaves both of those Shimada bros available. Hanzo and Genji are on the available list right now. So if they want to move into that style of ripping down bosses with Hanzo like we saw in game number 1, there it is. Hanzo yet again going to be picked up by Mortis Invicta, and I really liked what I saw in game number 1. So it's probably not only a comfort pick, but it's also like an outstanding pick for them.
I want to see if Team Caliber has a Genji player, because this is definitely one of Genji's better maps too. Any maps where there's space, he can move around, dive, and he has a lot of map terrain to kind of just work around. I want to see, Tomb maybe not the best map for Genji, but Curse definitely a better suiting map to for Genji. And you know what? In my opinion, I feel Genji counters the Hanzo. If he's got dive buddies, which they already have the Murden can dive in with him. They can just get on that Hanzo and kind of just focus him down. We have the Stukov as the second pick, and still awaiting Squad 9 Alpha's third pick. Time running down will be, drum roll please, Genji. We got the Gengu.
All right, so I agree with your analysis. It's a great pick paired with Murden. Stukov, a great healer, along with his team, especially if they're contesting points together. He can get off those huge kill switches to get his team back to full health. Not to mention the Silence, one of the most utility type talents in the game, or abilities in the game, and it's really able to lock down a lot. If you get it in the right spot, you can make it on this map with the expanding arm that you just can't click it until you respond to interrupt him from casting it.
Absolutely, that's a great point. You can't cap the objective if there's a big lurking arm underneath you. As we saw in last game, lurking arm had really big value in the team fights. So also maybe Team Caliber just said, we have a Stukov player. Let's take away that hero from American Specialist. Sorry, Mortis Invicta.
You're looking at the sheet from the last match, huh?
It's the same sheet. What can I say?
Scratch it out. All right, so Mortis Invicta, they're going to ban away that Tracer yet again with their second ban tonight. They must have a sniffing on to what Squad 9 Alpha likes to play, because 2 games in a row, that nimble assassin from Overwatch Tracer going to be banned out yet again. I like it. If they know that Squad 9 Alpha is comfortable on that hero, it can be very disruptful, especially getting onto the back line Hanzo they already have. So smart play. The final ban of this match will be for Squad 9 Alpha. They have about 30 seconds left. Looks like they're going to hover another Overwatch hero. This time it's the healer Lucio. I think it's smart. They already have Stukov. They don't want to give away another one of those power healers, but now they're thinking, they're second guessing themselves, and it looks like Brightwing is being hovered and Brightwing is being banned, so that's another global banned away.
Brightwing's not a bad ban. I think I would have rather them take the Lucio away. Just the mobility, and that's exactly the reason why. Lucio's ult pretty much negates Genji's ult, and it also gives the entire team mobility, you know. So if Mortis Invicta gets in trouble, Lucio just move speeds the entire team out and pretty much negates any dive potential that Squad 9 Alpha can have.
And that was an insta lock. They must have been sitting on it waiting to grab it as quick as they could. They saw the Brightwing ban come down and their mouths were watering, ready to click on that Lucio. So they still need some solo lane help. Maybe if they want to pick up two guys that can hold their own in lane and keep the ETC Hanzo Lucio together. There's Leoric we saw in game 1. An outstanding job in the first game on that Leoric. The entombs were enormous. And this time it's going to be paired with ETC. So I think that's a comfort pick for them, and it really worked out in game number 1, Lucky.
Yeah, no, you saw that Leo absolutely dominate the bottom lane. So I want to see if Squad 9 Alpha has an answer. You know, I don't know if they have Malthael is a great answer to Leo. They may not have a Malthael player though. So you know, because I remember last match, yeah, they picked the Tyrael to kind of face the Leo, but it didn't really work out, and they were having problems all game. And then they had to send 2 people at bottom at one point, and then it took away pressure in their, you know, potential pressure in their mid top rotation. So. I think Squad 9 needs to get an answer to this Leo, a Sonya or a Malthael possibly, something that can just hold their own against Leoric.
The other still available right now is Greymane. But we do see Kael'thas and Lunara, so some more backline being picked up for Squad 9 Alpha. This is a pretty heavy backline for them with the Genji, the Kael'thas, and the Lunara, along with their Stukov healer. So I think this signals to the members over on Mortis Invicta that they are pretty safe picking up that Greymane. I think it'd be a great selection for them to throw up in the top lane. It's going to be able to get go for the throat value if they want. I don't see a better pick available. I really think that's the way they need to go here, Lucky.
I like the Greymane too. You know, Greymane's kit kind of works out for to go against Squad 9 Alpha. You throw the cocktail on the Murden, it splashes back to, you know, between 2 and 4 backline heroes because they'll be hiding behind Murden. You know, no one can really tank besides the Murden, so I'm assuming their position's gonna be pretty behind the tank. And they also do it would be nice too for Merking. I would say this: Greymane is one of the best Merc control heroes, but they choose to go with Alarak. Interesting choice.
So looking to silence that Genji, silence that Kael'thas, it's gonna be Alarak fallen in the last spot of this draft. So they're gonna go through the swap phase. It looks like a swap might have come down on Leoric and ETC, but they swap right back. And heading here into game number 2 with the momentum already in favor of Mortis Invicta. They have the record leading in this season for Division C East, at least up against Squad 9 Alpha. So I think if I have to give my card over to which team I think is going to take this based off the drafts and that knowledge of record, it's got to be Mortis Invicta. I really like what they have with the Hanzo, able to rip through these bosses. Of course, you have Leoric, who did a great job in game number 1, able to hold down the lane. And it's really just going to be up to Lunara to solo one of them. I really have to give all the credit over to Mortis Invicta with their draft here.
Yeah, I think Mortis Invicta did a decent job. I'm with you. I would have liked to seen a Greymane over the Alarak. The one point, in fact, I think the Alarak may almost weaken their comp a little bit, but they had a good showing. Just they could execute very well last game. So I want to see if this Alarak becomes a weakness for the team or is a strength. Because Alarak, I mean, the only one he can really put his combo on is Murden. If he steps up too far, they should be able to punish him with Gravity Lapse or you know, a Murden, Stormbolt, or just Angel, you know, on the Lunara being able to kite him out. So we'll see if this is a hindrance or an empowerment to their comp.
So On the left-hand side, though, we have Squad 9 Alpha. Jungle Jim going to play the Genji. Hot Wheels is going to be on that Kael'thas. Andrade going to play the Muradin this time. Ora Luna is going to be the healer on that Stukov. And rounding it up in the top lane is Angel on Lunara.
And on the right-hand side, Mortis Invicta, we have Zaldrith on the ETC, Striker on our Alarak, Deathstroke once again on the Hanzo, Ronin Kitten playing Lucio, and we have our Leo ML Gaddy 86 in the solo lane bottom.
So one solo laner top for Squad 9, one solo laner bot for Mortis Invicta. And I think the wave clear is going to go over to Leoric, and those minions will start crashing away. We have a pause, though. So let's take a short break here. Lag is coming out for Mortis Invicta onto that Lucio player Ronin Kitten. 3 of them are lagging, so let's double check we're on the right server. And we are on Central.
Central, yep, Central United States.
I hope they drop a poem for us. That'd be nice. So while we're paused, let's take a look over at these talents, because we do see another Kael'thas player going into Convection at level 1. We have a third win picked up for Muradin. And then, of course, we have the Pathfinder, which is picked up by Genji.
Ooh, that is an interesting talent choice. You know, the greed is, I see the Kael'thas greed is, you know, actually viable. Pathfinder jumping over terrain with cyber agility increases Genji's movement speed 25% for 6 seconds. That is a very interesting talent. Hopefully you can get some value. I mean, during objective, I can see it getting value because there's lots of terrain to jump over. I personally would prefer the E talent, but that's just me. That's my personal preference. And let's see if he can make it work.
And of course, we have the Hanzo yet again going into target practice. Worked out very well in game number 1. This time a bit bigger of a map, a little harder to rotate up onto that, for example, Lunara hiding out in that top lane, so it might take a little bit longer to get it done than on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but nonetheless, if he does get that done, it's going to be another piece of his kit that's really going to put it together for Hanzo, and Deathstroke did such a great job in game number 1, keeping all of the enemies on Squad 9 Alpha at bay, especially once level 7 kicked in and he picked up those sharpened arrows.
Yeah, it'll be a little tougher for him to complete the quest. It'll be easier once the objectives spawn, if they can, you know, not get blown up. If, you know, the objective is a little back and forth, if he can get his Qs in on, you know, while trying to secure the objective, it would definitely be beneficial for him. So I'm looking for him to try and get those sacks in, probably during the curse spawn. I'm sorry, the tribute spawn.
Just waiting on the teams to confirm that they are ready to go, and I'll count us back in, and there it is. So let me count this in. All right, so here in the mid lane, we see a 4v4 still ready. Striker on that Alarak was behind the wall, and looks like he's going to finally move out. The wave clear, though, I think it has to be in favor, at least right now, for Squad 9 Alpha. Having the Kael'thas able to throw the flame strikes in and really clear it out quickly is going to be a huge benefit to them. Rotating, though, to the bot lane is the Genji going to go up against that Leoric, but not before 2 waves were able to crash into their wall. And also on the top, we saw the same, but there's Striker ready to do a combo onto Angel and that Lunara.
Yeah, it was very interesting lane setup for a while. It was 0-1-4 for both teams. And it looks like they finally have adjusted and have people soaking all lanes. It's unfortunate that the Lunara is against the Alarak in top lane. I would have liked to see the Lunara against the Leo, because Lunara can kind of kite out the Leo. And you see another combo from Striker going on the Luna.
Yeah, so looks like a lot of comfort on the Alarak, already hitting that combo 2 or 3 times up against Lunara. And she's one of the more nimble heroes, able to get the extra movement speed with her base kit on that horse legs of hers. So Up to the top, it's Murden, the one trying to help out up against them, and there's a Stormbolt, but no follow-up available from Lunara. But they will be able to control this lane up against just the solo Alarak. And here comes ETC. Was going to take the aggressive flanking position, but opted not to. The Wisp is going to come out into the bush, so...
They've been spotted.
Yeah, and they know now that Lucio's there to clear it away, and not enough pressure put on by the ETC and Lucio in that rotation to make anything happen of it.
All right, and we have the tribute spawning in about 23 seconds now. We have the Murden and Luna both committed to taking the siege camp, so we'll see if they can take that siege camp in time and be able to rotate. But it looks like Mortis Invicta, not American Specialist once again. It's been scribbled out, for the record. It's been scribbled out. Mortis Invicta has made their way over to the tribute, and they have great positioning. So Squad 9 Alpha is going to be late, and let's see if they still go for it. And
it's Stukov's the one in trouble, having to scoot away, and Lucio also took a bit of damage from Mortis Invicta, but right now it's Genji's the one here able to really keep them at bay from getting it in, but the Kel'Thas on the bottom side falls.
Counter kill. And there's a counter kill by the Lunara top side of the objective. Murden's trying to poke it out.
If I'm Squad 9 Alpha right now in this specific trade-off, just take your time. You don't need to do anything too fancy. You don't need to take damage especially. But one thing you do need to do is keep this Stukov safe, or a Luna on an island all alone with no mana, and it's Leoric chasing her away, but not going to be able to secure that kill. M.I. Gaddy or M.L. Gaddy? I can't determine if that's a capital I or a lowercase l, but great job once again on Leoric, zoning away all the members from Squad 9 Alpha. But let's not forget, that siege camp had time in the top lane, got down one of those towers, looks about 5 health. So once Lunara shows back up there, I think this lane is going to start really pushing in their favor.
Yeah, you know what? You touched upon it, and even though Squad 9 Alpha was a little late, they did get the siege camp, and the siege camp destroyed the top cannon, and the bottom cannon is pretty much gone. All they have really is the wall up for the top lane. And now Lunara actually has a favorable matchup in this solo against Leo. She can kind of kite him out. Some action going mid if you want to take us what's going on mid maybe.
Yeah, so level 7's just picked up for Mortis Invicta. Now we see them also picked up for Squad 9 Alpha. They have to make their selections. Looks like we're going to get a heavy impact out of Murden, which is a really cool talent. He's going to jump on the heroes and really slow them down, especially if he's helping peel for his team. That could be very pivotal. Let's not forget, Genji went to Shuriken Mastery, already at 25 stacks at level 4, so great job there started. And the Kel'Thas, really, he's the man of the hour because he's got to finish those convection stacks before this mid to late game starts. And he died earlier and had him reset, so he's got to really pick up the pace now with another fight breaking out here at the top tribute. And it's a huge slide by Zaldrith on that. ETC going to hit Hot Wheels and Aura Luna. They have to be zoned out. Genji's on the bot side working on
he's going for the dive.
Hanzo, but a huge silence hidden from Alarak, and another counter silence from Stukov. He's going to hold it in place, really zone out this tribute. I'd love to see them just click it, and Jungle Jim's going to do just that. Kel'Thas picking up a kill, but not before he dies. So a 1-for-1 trade at the end of that, but the really big story out of that exchange was the first tribute of the game was picked up for Squad 9 Alpha, so now we're tied at 1, heading into tribute number 3 here soon.
We are tied 1 apiece. I will note it may not have been the best chase for the Kel'Thas. Convection stacks reset to 0.
I do like seeing this though. Squad 9 Alpha knows another tribute will be spawning soon. They know they still have their bruiser available. They're going to take it. It's going to be able to push during this next phase, which will be on their side of the map here right next to us in this spot here. So there it is. It's grabbed, and no Merc pressure going to be coming from Mortis Invicta, but they do have some lanes pushed out. Alarak was just up there clearing out the top, and Leoric still in the bottom, about to get down to 4, but here comes Murden. Not in time before that Wraith Wall comes out, and ML Gaddy 86 able to scoot away. Going to use a tap early and show up to his fight with full health. Hot Wheels, though, just got pulled in by Alarak. Misses the Discord strike.
Getting caught out.
But ETC able to hit the power slide, and now this is a 5v4 with the advantage to Mortis Invicta. Jungle Gym going to try to poke on that Genji, but once ETC and Leoric push you away down this little alley, there's nothing you can do. Lucio's the clicker. Murden's the one in trouble. Another great power slide. The armor reduction from Hanzo, enough to secure the kill. And now another pull in from Alarak, and the Discord Strike barely missing. The spooky hand connecting on Genji. Well played. Level 10's online for Mortis Invicta, and they're right next to the opponent's boss here in the bot lane.
Yeah, and you know, this is just almost like the first match. This is very similar situation. Mortis Invicta hits level 10. Enemy team does not have their ultimates, and they are just committing to the boss. And Mortis Invicta is committing to the enemy boss. So this is a potential double boss play or a single boss plus curse. So we'll see how the timer for the curse plays it out. But this is a big win. You know, this is a very big win for Mortis Invicta.
Yeah, there was a slight miscommunication. You saw the Hanzo rotate to mid for a second, and I think his team was like, hey, you're our boss clear. Get the hell over here, man. We need you to get this boss down quick, knowing that it was on the opposite side of the map, but nonetheless, they are successful at grabbing it, and here they go heading up to the top boss now. This is a double boss play coming out from Mortis Invicta, and this time it's all 5 members here with a Wisp following from Lunara, so they know all too well that they're up there, but there's absolutely nothing they can do with this boss already knocking down their bottom fort, as well as the tribute spawning, which they have to absolutely grab because they're against a curse point for Mortis Invicta here.
Yeah, you know what, and it's gonna work out in their favor. You know, the Squad 9 Alpha kind of has to really thank the Hot Gods for the tribute spawn, even though you knew it was gonna be bottom because, you know, with patch changes a couple patches ago, you can kind of see where the objective is before it spawns. So they luck out, they don't get boss and curse, and there's a pause.
So I did just get clarification from chat. It was Spare Shadow coming through. We have our Leoric player, M.I. Gaddy. It stands for Mortis Invicta, Lucky. Of course, we should have known.
Duh. Yeah, we're just, you know.
You know we're slow. We're casters. We don't know everything.
Clevers. Yeah.
But we did see the boss get grabbed in the top lane, and while we are at it, let's take a look at the talent selections at level 10. We still haven't spoken about what we saw come out from Mortis Invicta, but it is the stage dive from ETC, as well as March of the Black King this time coming out from Gaddy. So a little bit different play, but I like it, especially paired with the Dragon Arrow and the stage dive. If they can lock them in place with that slow from stage dive, hit the march, and then that's a lot of damage, and it's going to keep Leoric healthy, especially.
Yeah, I don't think you could have when you can't really go mosh pit against a lot of ranged interrupt. You have the Kael'thas, which is a pretty reliable gravity lapse interrupt, and then you have also the Stukov silence. So I do like the stage dive, and there's a lot of combo potential, as you touched upon, with you know, potential Dragon's Arrow. You got stage dive behind, and then the March of the Black King moving forward. It's kind of a full collapse on a team, especially on a very squishy enemy team. So if they get a good engagement, it's going to be tough. They're going to be choked into an area where they can't. They're just going to take damage from all angles.
But the one defense we see coming out for Squad 9 Alpha in terms of their ultimates is the flailing swipe from Stukov. So if he can land that and knock away that engage we're talking about with the stage dive, then that's really their best line of defense. And the only other thing we see is leaping strike coming from Lunara. So if she gets singled out, she can hop away. But nonetheless, it's a really, really scary thing to go up against, that Dragon's Arrow. And if the stage dive is well timed, you're really just locked in place. Looks like teams might be ready. Let's check in here on the teams. All right, and once again, we are back in game. We just saw the second tribute picked up for Squad 9 Alpha. We are now tied at 2 apiece. The boss is still pushing up this top lane, a very slow rotation up to get it, so it's already going to get that wall down. And now we see Bruisers being played by Mortis Invicta, so a lot of map pressure right now, especially with that Leoric staying split out as much as he is. Gaddy doing a great job, but he wants to get up here to help his team with this boss push. This is going to be a big fight right now.
Yeah, you know what? Right now the game is very even. The game could go either way. Yeah, the boss is pushing. The boss is going to be down soon. It looks like an engage on the KT, and the KT blows up immediately.
Yeah.
Yorick moving forward with the March of Black King. And Murden now is in between the entire squad of Mortis Invicta. Let's see what happens.
So you saw the striker on the Alarak get a huge combo, and then the power slide was right on point by Zaldrith. But right now it's 5v4 in the top line, and Andrade, the Murden player, is the one in trouble. He barely dwarf tosses out of that Dragon's Arrow and stage dive play. That was close because he already had his armor reduced 20% by the Hanzo. So he really needed to get away, and he does. And the third win he picked up at level 1, able to get him back to full health. It's Genji, though, on the front line, taking 2 stacks of the sharpened arrows from Hanzo, and he had to back away. So this is a big play because it's curse point, and it was grabbed up in the counter-strike from Alarak, securing 2 kills there. That's another reset on Kael'thas. The convection stacks back to 0. This is, again, a curse against Squad 9 Alpha, and all 5 members already right up against this keep wall. They're doing plenty of damage. All that's here in defense is Muradin and Stukov, and it's Muradin being circled by the team, and he just falls apart. Hanzo securing that kill, and now there is no front line available for Squad 9 Alpha to make a defense to save this keep. And they know all they have to do is play it safe, but no, let's get 2 more kills and a counter-strike landing on Lunara. Make it 3. Genji now, the only line of defense. Jungle Jim, you gotta get away, my friend, but no, you're gonna die. And this is now 11 minutes and 15 seconds into the game. The core is being rushed upon by Mortis Invicta. Leoric setting the tone up in the front, making sure Muradin's not getting back to his team. 70%, 60%, 50% as now members are spawning for Squad 9 Alpha. The silence coming from Stukov, but a perfectly timed Dragon's Arrow is going to seal the deal for Mortis Invicta here in game number 2. GG, well played.
Pretty dominant showing by Mortis Invicta.
I mean, what an ending, though, because I think counting them, they had the 5 plus the 2. It might have like 7 or 8 kills there right at the end of the game during that curse.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing was Squad 9 Alpha. I almost want to say they were what's the, it's not quad. What's the word for 5?
A pentakill?
I think it was a penta backline because Murden wasn't really a tank with the negative armor Hanzo, and then spooky hand coming from Leo. Murden almost felt like just as squishy as the backline, and it just happened. Mortis Invicta just had really good tank burn with between Hanzo and Leoric.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Hanzo, we talked about this talent. It's really a playmaker. If you're not playing this on your team with your Hanzo player, sharpened arrowheads at level 7 just rips through tanks. If you have any sort of follow-up, you pair it with a good mage.
Don't tell them, Murda. Don't tell them.
You pair it with a good major. In this case, it was Leoric, and his hand just ripping through all sorts of health on Muradin. I saw him go from what looked like 90% health, and he just fell right apart. So GG's tonight from Mortis Invicta. Let me see if I can get one of their members over into a chat. We'll try to do an interview, so hang with us. I'm gonna try to set that up, and we'll be right back.
Hey.
All right, so it looks like I'm getting the full team of Mortis Invicta
It's a
here.
party up in here.
All right. So
There's
great.
no party till we walk in.
Oh yeah, so great job there in this match. You took the 2-0 over Squad 9 Alpha. I'm gonna start off with your captain Zaldreth. Well played, man. That ETC we saw come down was just outstanding, especially there in game 2. Able to secure a lot of kills with the combo from Alarak, especially.
Thank you. We've been working on our comboing a lot lately with our mages and EC.
They actually had the right idea game 1, stealing the ETC. ETC is Zeldreth's best hero.
So we saw a huge prioritization on Hanzo especially, and did it ever work? Because taking that sharpened arrowheads, we talked about it a lot on stream, just able to really rip through the front line from Squad 9 Alpha. Is that something your team's been practicing, especially knowing how meta he is? You see it in HGC all the time. Are you guys really focusing in on that Hanzo right now?
Oh, generally, changing. And, you know, Hanzo becoming very strong and a relative character. Because he's, with every meta, there's going to be a highly contested character and one that's always going to perform better than the other one. So picking up that character and adding it to our team play was probably the best thing that we did. And that's what we improved on.
So what was the strategy game number 1? It was the opponent's map pick on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We saw you guys take a really early game advantage, but what was your strategy going in there?
Well, Tomb of the Spider Queen is actually one of our better maps.
Primarily, I believe what our plan was to mostly out-sustain our targets, but always be ready to dive on them. And that's our strategy going into almost every game. We love diving. We love engaging in those close-in brawls. We know we shouldn't most times, but we wanted to have just enough sustain and poke to keep them at bay while we collected the gems as much as possible.
One of the biggest mistakes they made was letting us have Zukov. He can pretty much heal for free.
Yeah, and not to mention, you guys made an outstanding play grabbing that boss, perfectly timed it with your spiders, pushed up the top lane, and were able to really secure the game from there because all 3 keeps fell almost at the same time, and it was really nothing the enemies could do to catch up because all the lanes just stayed pushed. Even after their own turn in, you guys were able to pick up some more kills and end that with ease before that late game comp of theirs really picked up speed. Lucky, you have anything to add on game number 1?
I would just like to say, I think for the first game, my MVP was whoever played the Stukov. Very nicely done. I saw lots of very clutch silences on the front line. The front line couldn't really get out, and then there was some body blocking, and so I think I would give a shout out to whoever your support player is. Shout out to the Stukov. Very clean game. Very good silences placed. And my MVP for the second game is probably the Leo. And I want to ask whoever the Leo players, how did your matchups feel? 'Cause it seemed like in the first match in Tomb, they had to send 2 players just to deal with you. So it seemed like you were dominating the match, and we were kind of like poking down in the bottom lane every so often. But you want to just kind of talk about your matchups in the first and second match?
Well, the problem with their draft was they didn't draft a good solo laner in general. They drafted a Falstad, but once I reach 7, I can push Falstad out of lane. The same, because that's when he gets his wave clear. Leo excels on Tomb of the Spider Queen because of his new rework, so that's why I was picking Leo on that map.
And then in the second match, I think the first time you were in the solo was against.
It was Tyrael at the start, right? And then they made a swap and tried to bring in the Falstead.
Right. Yeah, neither were working out. And then even in the second match too, I remember I can't remember who you were facing, but I remember they finally sent the Luna, and Luna can finally kind of keep her toe with the Leo.
Yeah, Lunara was more difficult, but still at 7 when I got my increased range, she was easier to push out of lane too. So they didn't have tremendous amount of wave clear on that second game, so all I had to do was clear the wave and back out.
Yep, very nicely done.
Thank you.
So before we head out tonight, I want to give you guys the opportunity to give a shout out. Maybe you had some friends watching the stream tonight, so I will leave the floor open to you guys. Congratulations, Mortis Invicta on the 2-0 tonight.
Thank
Hi, my name is Striker. I stand in red circles and play assassins.
you.
But no, in all seriousness, it was a lot of fun playing against 9 Alpha. They have a lot of great potential. And for me personally, whenever I was in lane against them, it felt like they were warming up against me. And that kept me on my toes throughout the match and really brought out the best in my play. So most respects to them. Tomb of the Spire Queen, just a lot of rough luck. Once we started snowballing, nothing could be done.
That was one of our biggest things, though, too, on that match was once we got the momentum, we wanted to keep the momentum and definitely shut down their momentum and just kept it going. Like when that one play, when Leo turned around.
Yeah.
We also don't think that we saw their full potential. We prevented them from getting their Tracer both games. They kind of telegraphed that they wanted her when they banned Varian.
Yeah, actually, we talked about that during the game about how the Tracer had been banned twice in that second ban spot. So if that was the scouting report you guys did, well played, because they seemed off their comfort a bit in both the maps.
I don't think that they wanted to grab the Kel'Thuzad. I could be wrong, but I don't think that they wanted it. He takes too long to scale.
And with having only one tank, Kel'Thuzad's really hard to play against with the backline that we had.
Oh yeah, definitely. Grabbing the Kel'Thuzad in just one tank, they were looking at a very difficult game.
So I have one quick question.
All
Am I
right.
lagged out?
No, you're here.
We got you.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on with my mic. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi.
Okay, here we go. I was having a little latency. So you guys have one player named M.I. Gaddy, and I heard that stands for Mortis Invicta. Guys, the rest of the crew is kind of slacking. I heard you guys are doing pretty good in DFC, but you only have one player repping the Mortis Invicta tag. What's going on there?
Two. We were missing one for this game. But the rest of us don't have the MI in our names because it costs $10 to change your name again.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Fair point. Fair point.
The other one is actually our captain who was missing tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that all aside, once again, we thank you all for casting the match, for letting us have this little Q&A session, and it's really been fun playing in the series. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Glad to hear you guys are enjoying NGS. All of you who joined us tonight in chat, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm going to be signing off now. I am Murda, joined by my co-caster Lucky and the entire team of the 2-0 victors from tonight, Mortis Invicta. Congratulations once again. GG's. Well played.
Thanks for the stream.
We appreciate you casting
Thanks,
us.
Have a good
GG's,
night.
guys. Good luck for the rest of the season.